Well, that's still yeah, absolutely.
And finally, what's Thursday? Wow. A lot of people are excited about the beginning of football season. You know what I'm excited about? Most motivational segment in all sports, the Bloodlist. Alongside Nick Wright, I'm Kevin Wilds. Brew, anybody on the bubble of the Bloodlist? Right there on the edge.
No.
Really? No?
It was just 3 obvious ones.
Oh, I've got 2 pretty obvious additions.
What? How many
You were
editions are we allowed
praising
to
me in
put
the
on?
meeting like it's the
No,
perfect
it is
Bud
the
list.
perfect Bud list, but if it was, I guess I was thinking back in the golden days when it was 5 people.
There's 6
there was
now.
a perfect 4
There's
and 5.
6, okay?
Pray
He
we
does
can get
3.
back to that.
I do 1.
I pray we can get back to that one.
Wait,
If you're
He added a half an
any
hour,
of your
still
prayer
won't let me do
time on the Bud list,
Bruce
And then
got a
just
lot
one
of prayer
final
time.
I pray about everything.
Bruce got a lot
Every
of prayer
single
time.
thing.
The Bud list?
Every
Why
little
not?
thing.
Yeah.
oh man, I think that one's falling on deaf ears.
That's why it's always so good.
But we're starting with banner night. AFC Championship rematch. We are about 5.5 hours away. Ravens in Arrowhead. Here's the career head-to-head between Lamar
How's that
and
going?
Patrick Mahomes. Not great. Not great for Lamar, I'll be honest with you. Mahomes has the advantage. So, Brew, we will start with you. We worked long and hard on this question.
Yeah.
Who you got?
Well, look, everybody knows I picked the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. But the Chiefs proved last year, Nick, you don't have to win your season opener to win the Super Bowl.
That's exactly right.
And the Chiefs have every seeming advantage, like momentum-wise, tonight.
A hedge.
The game is in Kansas City. It's banner night. You get tons of adrenaline from, you know, the banner being raised and all the celebration of your Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They've had less turnover because you've highlighted the Ravens' turnover on the coaching staff and the roster. The Chiefs have had less turnover in both of those areas. And on paper, the Chiefs are better than they were a year ago when they, of course, won the Super Bowl. So, what a wonderful win this is going to be for the Baltimore Ravens, baby. You see the tie? You didn't even have to ask a brother the question. This is who I'm going with, the Ravens. And here's why.
Okay.
First of all, in the words of the late, great Jim Brown, they got to go get some get back. They going to go get some get back. It has been sticking in their craw, gnawing at them all off season that they were the better team last year. Not taking nothing from the Chiefs, but the Ravens were the better team last year. And while the Chiefs won fair and square, the Ravens can look at this and say, we beat ourselves. We beat ourselves. The Ravens had, Nick, they had 2 unnecessary roughness penalties. They had 8 penalties for 95 yards. 2 unnecessary roughness. That's the definition of an unnecessary penalty. One time they had too many men on the field. All right? Then 2 times they had roughing the passer. You don't have to do that. And then, of course, Zay Flowers taunting. All right? And then, of course, in addition to losing their composure with all those 15-yard penalties, they lost their identity. All right, and they stopped running the football. Look at this graphic. In a lot of ways, they outplayed the Chiefs. They had more total yards. They almost averaged 6 yards per play, 5 yards per rush. Why not run the ball? Look at the Chiefs, less than 3 yards per rush. You see the penalties, though, penalties, yards, and giveaways via turnover.
Not bad.
And that was the difference. So, Nick, all season, I know Lamar says it's not revenge, and that's a smart way to look at it. Don't make it too big. But this has been off season, and that's why they brought in Derrick Henry for the Chiefs. So I got the Ravens tonight.
Okay. First of all, let me say something, because I was worried there that you were going to do the ultimate hedge. Which
my acting
your acting has improved.
You have a SAG card.
Yeah, I do.
No, and an IMDb
I get
page,
a royalty
he gets
check,
a royalty check of at least
much,
40
but-
to 50 cents every month. So, but you really did have me, because it would be semi-reasonable to say, I think the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl, but I think Kansas City is going to win tonight, and it also would be the ultimate television hedge, which would be, well, you get to come in tomorrow either right or happy. Just like I right now could easily say, well, it doesn't. Yeah, sure, the Ravens win, just like the Lions did last year, just like the Bengals do or the Bills do in the regular season against the Chiefs, and it doesn't matter. Unfortunately, I am bound by my commitment to honesty and integrity on this show, and I must not give the easiest take. I must give the honest take. And I have the Chiefs huge. I have the Chiefs. I'm not saying let me be very clear. I'm not saying a blowout. What I am saying is the Chiefs' offense, most notably its passing offense, and Patrick Mahomes is going to look as dominant as we have ever seen it.
Wow.
Because I know for some people, and I'm not naming names, but some people, last year is the only year. For those people, Tua Tagovailoa is an Iron Man, and there are real. I mean, right, exactly right. There you go, bro. I don't know why you pointed the wrong way. And for those people, they think the Chiefs' offense is maybe a question mark in Week 1. I try to, as Wilds would say, open the aperture a bit wider and say, how have the Chiefs looked in Week 1 since Patrick Mahomes got there? So let's quickly go through it. The second start of his career, the first start ever when he was a full-time starter against the only other great quarterback in the division, 4 touchdowns, 250 yards, 127 rating. Then next year in Week 1, against the Jacksonville Jaguars, now that was pre-Trevor Jacksonville, 40 points, 3 touchdowns, 380 yards, a 143 rating. The next year, against peak Deshaun Watson, coming off the 24-0 lead the Texans had.
Kind of similar.
3 touchdowns, 200 yards, a 123 rating. Then next year, coming up against peak Baker Mayfield after they beat them in the playoffs. 3 touchdowns, 337 yards, a 131 rating. Then next year, going up against Pete Kyler, coming off a playoff appearance, first game without Tyreek Hill. That was the year, oh no, the Chiefs, the book is out on the Chiefs, put them in too high. No, Tyreek, what are you going to do? He's going to drop a 40-piece on your head. And then, of course, there was last year, which one of these things is not like the other. Last year was a disaster. But that does mean over the course of his career, there has been what he has always done in Week 1, go 5-0, average 38 points in a 13-point victory, 18 touchdowns, no picks, a 137 rating, the greatest Week 1 quarterback in NFL history, bar none, and then there's last year. And so I'm going to go with the bulk of history rather than last year. I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes being locked in. I'm going to go with George Karlaftis, 2-time Super Bowl champion in 2 seasons, first-round pick, against a new Ravens offensive line, and Chris Jones and Felix Anaduke, the first-round, Zuma Anaduke, pardon me, the first-rounder from last year. They didn't get much time. Those 3 guys having their names called on this broadcast a bit. I'm going to go with Baltimore once again being a little too hyped. I think Baltimore will get another one of those silly penalties. I think Baltimore will be frustrated.
That's on Harbaugh.
I think Baltimore, and this is why I said when the schedule came out that I thought this was unfair to Baltimore. That for a team that was that good, because Brew was right, they were over 22 weeks of last year clearly the best team. And then they had their worst game of the year at the worst time. To make that team in the next game they play watch a banner drop that they all feel should have been theirs, I think is honest to God unnecessary. Like that, give this would be a big game no matter what. Give it to them in week 5, week 10, week 12, whatever. So even if they feel buttoned up getting off the plane, they will not come about 8:15 tonight. So I think Kansas City is going to score 30+, and I do not believe Baltimore can do that.
So what do you think, like 2 touchdown wins?
No. I think something along the lines of 31-24, 31-20, like something like that. Not a blowout, but the Chiefs' offense rolls, which obviously in the second half of the playoff game it did. That's what I think we're going to get.
I got the Chiefs. You know I got the Chiefs.
I don't know who you. I still don't even know who you picked to win the Super Bowl.
I picked
San Francisco.
I picked San Francisco over the Dolphins.
Yeah.
But if Patrick Mahomes shows up, the three-peat, ooh, Jordan-esque. People say he's Jordan-esque. All right, let's talk about the Ravens side of things. Washington Post's Kent Bobb wrote a long feature on Lamar Jackson. It's excellent. It pretty much covers childhood to now. Late in the article, Lamar talks about the AFC Championship game. It's a quote he gave Bob in June. Bab, excuse me. How I'm feeling right now, I wish I was feeling like this body-wise in the AFC Championship. we would have won the game. I would have been able to move around for my guys. With me just hurting and can't move, I know if my legs were good, we would have won that blank. We wouldn't have even had to throw the ball blank, throwing the ball. Okay, Nick, your reaction here.
All right, I'm not going to kill Lamar for the we would have won. It's a first cousin of the turf, the refs, but I'm not going to kill him for that. The end of that quote cannot be said out loud by a franchise quarterback. F throwing the ball. We wouldn't have had to throw the ball. F throwing the ball. In that case,